Hi students, this unit is Unit 4 Triangle Basics. Our first section is the triangle sum theorem. You can see our objectives. Of course, at the end, we're going to use some algebra to apply some geometric concepts. So first, we have the triangle sum theorem. Big theorem in geometry, the sum of the three interior angles of a triangle is always 180 degrees. So let's see why this is true. Let's get a highlighter up and we'll highlight the triangle in blue. So this is the triangle that I'm highlighting in this teal or turquoise color, whatever. All right, so that's our triangle. And the base where angle A and B are. So imagine where angle C is, you drew a line that was perfectly parallel to, we'll call this line M and we'll call this line P. So say we drew line P so that it was perfectly parallel to line M. Then we get an alternate interior angle right here, and we get another set of alternate interior angles right here. And so since angle A, whatever angle A is down here, it has the same value up here. And we see that these three angles, A plus C plus B, these angles they make a straight line. So that's why they add to equal 180 degrees, the angles of a triangle. Because of that, like using a parallel line to justify that. So simpler is just given three angles inside of a triangle, they always have to add to equal 180. So in our first example, we're given two of the angles and we have to find the missing angle. So say we call this missing angle X, then we know X plus 75 plus 40 has to equal 180. Now, of course, we're taking a lot of steps to do what's a very simple problem. So we get X plus 115 equals 180, and then we subtract 115 from both sides. So we get that X is 65 degrees. And so that makes sense. 65 plus 40 is 105. 105 plus 75 is 180. So if you're given two angles inside of a triangle, you subtract those two from 180 and you get the third angle. So the other way we could have done this is we could have said X is equal to 180 minus 75 and minus 40, which is basically the same calculation that we just did. So the second example is something that you can expect to see on your practice on Khan Academy. It's the same kind of problem. We have X, 33 and 114. So we know that since X is the third angle of the triangle, it's going to equal 180 minus 114 minus 33. And so that is 180 minus 147. So X is also going to be 33 degrees. In our third example, we have an algebraic expression that doesn't change what we're doing. So we have this angle A up top. If you want to, we can say we have angle B and angle C. But we do know, because these three angles are interior to a triangle, that we should get 5x minus 5 plus 7x minus 9 plus 50 equals 180 degrees. So we don't need the degree symbol, just have it. So on the left side of the equation, we are just combining like terms. We're not going to do like plus 5 and plus 5 to the 50. So, let's go back. So negative 5 minus 9 is negative 14, and negative 14 plus 50 is 36, and 5x plus 7x is 12. So we get 12x plus 36 equals 180 degrees. And from here, it's a simple two-step equation. We subtract 36 from both sides. We get 12x equals 144. And then we divide both sides by 12. And so x is equal to 12. X is equal to 12, not the angle. So I would recommend going back to check your angle values to make sure this makes sense. So if x is 12, this bottom angle is 7 times 12 minus 9. 7 times 12 is 84. 84 minus 9 is 73. So we get the angle B is 73 degrees. And angle A is 5 times 12, which is 60, minus 5 is 55 degrees. So again, the calculation that we did was 5 times 12 minus 5. So now I would highly recommend, did I do my math on this right? 140, so 12x minus 14, so plus 36 minus 1.4, x is 12. 5 times 12 is 60. 7 times 12 is 84. I'm sorry, that should be a 75, not 73. That should be 75 degrees. So 75, so now if you go back and check, you get 75 plus 55 plus 50. And again, that's going to give us 105 plus 75. That equals 180 degrees. And that is how we know our value of x is correct. Our three angles add to equal 180 degrees. In the fourth example, we're going to use the triangle sum theorem in conjunction with other stuff that we know to find this missing angle here. So we'll call this x. And so to find x, we first need to find, we'll call this angle y, and we'll call that angle w. So we know that angle y is whatever 180 minus 70 plus 45 is. So 70 plus 45 is 115, and 180 minus 115 is going to be 65 degrees. So angle y is 65 degrees. Now 65 degrees, 57 degrees, and angle w, they make a straight line. So they add to equal 180. So then W is equal to 180 minus 65 minus 57, which that's 122 minus, so 180 minus 122 is 58 degrees. So W is equal to 58 degrees. And finally, to find angle x, since we know x is inside this triangle and the other two angles are 58 and 22, we know that x is equal to 180 degrees minus 58 degrees minus 22 degrees, which is really 180 minus 80 degrees, which is 100 degrees. So x equals 100 degrees. All right. The next thing we have is the exterior angle theorem. So this blue angle is going to be an exterior angle. It's outside of the triangle, and it's a linear pair. Say we call this angle E. It's an interior. So angle D and angle E form a linear pair, which means they add to equal 180 degrees. So an exterior angle is always equal to the sum of the two opposite interior angles. So say angle E was, that looks like it could be a 40-degree angle. Then because D and E form a linear pair, we know that D plus E equals 180 degrees. And so in this instance, say that D was 40, so D plus 40 equals 180. And so that's going to imply that D has to equal 140 degrees. Now, we also know that angle E plus A plus B has to equal 180. So over here, so we'll put E plus A plus B. That's a terrible E, by the way. Let's fix that. So E plus A plus B equals 180, or 40 plus A plus B equals 180. And so we get A plus B has to equal 140 because we subtracted 40 from both sides. But the point is the exterior angle always has to be the sum of angle A and B because the three angles add to be 180, but the linear pair also has to add to be 180. So D is always going to be what these two angles are. Nope. How can I get to the next slide? Okay. All right, there we go. So Our next example of this is, all right, so we have an angle that's 145 degrees on the outside and this missing angle B on the inside. So what we know is that 145, this exterior angle 145, we'll even put exterior, is equal to the sum of the two remote interior angles. So 145 is equal to x plus 97. And if we subtract 97 from both sides, what we're going to get is 48. So 48 is equal to x. So if x is 48, so 48 plus 97 is 145. The other way we could have done this is, we know that angle C, well, I don't have to put in a W, but this angle beside 145 is equal to 35 degrees because it forms a linear pair with the 145 degree angle. And then we could have done 35 plus 97. That is 132, and 180 minus 132 is 48. Either way, we would get 48 for that missing angle. The second example is you're trying to find the value of the remote interior angle. And so we know the remote interior angle or the exterior angle is equal to the sum of the other two interior angles. So x is equal to 44 plus 30, which is 74 degrees. That's it. And so our last example is going to be us doing some algebra with this. So we have our exterior angle and we have our two opposite interior angles. And we know that the exterior angle is equal to the sum of the the opposite interior angles. So 141 is equal to 6x minus 4 plus 17x plus 7. So we get 141 is equal to 23x, and negative 4 plus 3 is 3. So we subtract 3, we get 138 is equal to 23x. I bet you a nickel that x equals 6. So 6 is equal to x. And again, you should go back and check this. So if x is 6, 17 times 6 plus 7, that is 112. I'm sorry, 102. Yeah, 102 plus 7 is 109 degrees. And nope, 6 times 7 is 6 times 17 is, yeah, it should be 102 plus, yeah, so 109. And then angle G is 6 times 6 minus 4, which is 36 minus 4, which is 32 degrees. So 109 plus 32 equals 141. So our two opposite interior angles add to equal the exterior angle. So a quick recap of the two theorems we covered. The exterior angle theorem: an angle on the outside of a triangle is always going to equal the sum of the other two angles that are not adjacent to the exterior angle, or just the two opposite interior angles. So that's the exterior angle theorem. And the triangle sum theorem is the sum of the three angles inside of a triangle always adds to equal 180 degrees. All right, guys, thanks for watching.